This is the 1990 Mazda 787B, and it is a rotary-powered monster. Today, I'll be taking you on a tour of the Mazda 787B, showing you all of its quirks and features, and then we will take it out onto the road for a test drive. Let's talk history. This was the first Japanese car to win the overall championship of the 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans. The race went quite smoothly compared to the other races that they have had, starting first in 1970 with the Chevron B16 Mazda. It unfortunately had to retire due to engine issues. And then in 1974, with the Sigma MC74 Mazda, it unfortunately performed an insufficient amount of laps. Then in 1979, with the Mazda RX-7 252i, it unfortunately failed to qualify. Then in 1991, Mazda used two RX-7 253s. Both, unfortunately, were retired due to driveline issues. And then, finally, in 1982, Mazda finally was able to score a position with the Mazda RX-7 254, which finished in an overall 14th place. Mazda finally got their act together. However, they still would not reach a podium position until 1991 with the Mazda 787B, taking 1st and 6th position, winning them the checkered flag. Let's talk specifications. First, with the engine. The engine uses the R26B 4-rotary engine. It uses Dorito power. It makes about 690 brake horsepower and about 448 pound-feet of torque. The chassis is about 104.8 inches long from wheel to wheel, and the whole vehicle weighs just over 1,489 pounds. And since we're out here, how about we talk about the quirks and features of the exterior? First, starting out with the iconic paint job, which uses the orange, green, and silver paint scheme for the number 55 car. This is iconic. I did not know much about the Mazda 787B up until this video. However, I was able to recognize the fact that is a Mazda just based on that paint job, which makes it iconic. Nextly, we could talk about the mirrors. I know that the mirrors aren't anything to write home about, but I've always loved fender mirrors. Nextly, we could talk about the windshield wiper. It's massive. It spans the entire windscreen, which is just absolutely insane. And since this is a Le Mans racing car, let's talk about the aero. The aero on this thing is absolutely crazy. It might not be as iconic as maybe an F1 car, or maybe as cool as the Aston Martin Valkyrie. I just watched Doug DeMira's video on that. That's the only reason I mention it. However, it still has a crazy rear wing. It's big, but it's really, really low, unlike a lot of race cars that I see maybe like BMG or even Assetto Corsa. It's really low, almost like a ducktail. And now we move on to the interior, where it's tight in here. I stand about 6 foot and my knees are plowing against the dashboard. So I would not say this is much of a commuter vehicle. However, there are some quirks and features of the interior. First being all the Mazda and Mazda Speed logos around the interior. So when you hop into a Mazda 787B, you do not forget you're driving a Mazda. Another quirk of the interior is the shifter location. Unlike most conventional vehicles where the shifter is in the center, this being a right-hand drive vehicle, so it would be right here, the shifter is on the right-hand side, opposed to being in the center. I just thought that was an interesting quirk of the vehicle. I am not sure if it's for space concerns or it's for the driver orientation, but it is an interesting quirk of the interior. Other than that, there's nothing really around here that would stand out to me. There's the Sabel 4-point harnesses, there's the digital gate cluster in front of us, which is really nice to look at, and that's it for the interior. And that concludes our tour of the Mazda 787B, the first Japanese vehicle to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Mazda's come a long way, all the way from the 70s when they tried racing, all the way up until the 1990s when they finally won. Now we've come to the end, which means I get to take this beautiful vehicle out on the road. Alrighty, driving the Mazda 787B. Definitely very quick. Though this is like a 90s car without any like ABS or even like no fuel cutoff or nothing, it's still very, very grippy. Go around this corner. We are on the Mazda Raceway. I like Monza a lot because it only has a few corners, but you get a lot of speed out of all these corners. See, you can gun it through the corners, and you could save the vehicle even if you lose traction. I'm not gonna pass this guy yet. Hey, look, another Mazda. Something I want to note, I do like Mazda as a company. I kind of wish that they would do something more innovative like this. And make it come to life. But Mazda really doesn't have anything going for it. They're kind of like Subaru in a way. A lot of people would disagree with me on that, but like Subaru, they haven't really changed their car design in, what, 10 years? 20 years? More like 10 years. And Mazdas really don't have anything to bring to the table other than the fact that they're actually not actually that expensive. Dude, I was looking at prices for vehicles a while back, and I was looking at Mazda because I was like, Mazda really doesn't have anything going for them, so the vehicles appreciate really quickly. All they really have is the Miata. Ooh. It's the only issue with this vehicle. It does not have ABS, but it's still not enough like scare me. That is how much grip this vehicle has. I just passed him while in the braking zone. Into the brakes. I will note though, I got a little scared when I first got into this vehicle. It resembles a lot of the Class C Bullseye in BeamNG. And that vehicle is really, really hard to control. And I was afraid that this vehicle would control similarly. But I'm glad to tell you it does not. This thing is very, very grippy around the corners. It does not just lose traction at the front and just send you into a barrier. Hi. This is the end. This is like the complete end. And I just want to show you how hard this video actually was. As you can see, there is no car. I'm in one optimized box. And I keep having to switch between here, being this place, and here. This place runs nice, and also the lighting is correct. That's how I get the green screen effect correct. However, if we go here, the green screen effect doesn't work. Also, there's a weird transparency effect. If we go over and activate the mask, this was a problem. I can't record here. Also, it runs like trash here. I go to the Porsche world in order to get the shots I need, in order to make sure I got everything lined up. And then I would have to hop back here in order to get the, the frame rate and also make the green screen work. So even though this was just a simple car review, this was honestly one of the more technical challenging videos that I've done. It was hard. However, I would totally do it again. So if you've made it this far in this video, do recommend to me what vehicle you'd like to see me do next. I am 100% open to all options. Some options might be a bit limited because I am, limited by the tools I have at my disposal. However, I will do my best to execute whatever vehicle you want me to review, check out, and that concludes this video. If you did enjoy watching, do feel free to subscribe, like, definitely comment. I love comments. Like, subscribe, share with someone, I guess. I guess if they're interested in watching someone just review a vehicle. But until then, my name is Future, and I'll see you in the distant travels. Bye-bye!